Hello, everybody. I am glad to be here. I am really extremely happy to be in front of you. So I know this time is a little bit difficult. It's lunch time. So that means I really appreciate you decide to come. The construction sector is a crucial sector for the economy. In fact, they offer value in size in the landscape to an economy. By McKinsey says the construction industry is among of the digitalized in the sector. So we have some gap with compare with banking or technology companies. What does it mean that? What it's speaking about is construction sector plays a crucial role because it starts to make economy dynamic, create employers, and everything start to happen for that. So let me introduce myself. I am Oscar Ramirez. I represent Constructora Bolívar, a leading company in the Colombian construction sector. And today, if this helps me to change, we will see resolution construction and analytics for the economic challenges. And I am looking forward to share with you our story on how we live in the past 3 years. For do that, let me speak about some couple. They are Elena, sorry. Allow me to ask you something. Please raise your hand. Who here owns their home? Cool, 40%. And the people who didn't raise the hand, who dreams of owning one? Nice, so let me tell you something. People in Colombia share this dream as well. Actually, it's a common dream for humanity. So since we are so child, we have this idea to grow, set up a family, have a home, and can see the kids grown. And this topic we are speaking today is something to move the humanity and how can make and build society. So now I will explain some story. This is a Colombian couple. They are Elena and Antonio. They are extremely happy because they will start to get this dream come true. In Colombia, and especially in our sector, you have two specific moments of the time. First of all, for buy a home, you have to pay the down payment, which is usually 30% of the total cost. And second of all, the rest, 17%, is happening by credit. Actually, it's a home mortgage loan. But if you don't have the first payment, you can't get a home. So the banking start to involve in our process also. But what happened with Elena and Antonio? They close the deal and they start to make a payment every month for $1,000. And everything was fine, wonderful. So, but something dramatic happened and it increased the rate every month. And this increase get this payment for $1,800. So it's about doubling of the initial agreement. So it was the case for thousands of Colombia. And most important, too many people start to give up for their dream to buy a home. But the big question is, I want you to put yourself in their shoes. How you can feel you buy a home and after you have to give up because you can't pay every month this. And if we're your case, what you can do? And perhaps, what happens if you have 3 children to support and pay for higher education, and everybody pay another bills, loans, to keep coming endlessly. So all this situation, for understand, we have to go back in some specific period from 2020 to 2022. So three events occurred during this period. First of all, as everybody knows, the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the normal business operation and how we are living, and even we have to transform how we sell because everybody was confined. So the second event to happen to explain this increase was the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Why? Because they increased the cost for the material construction. And lastly, in 22, we have changing of government. And they put some period in flux, everything. And it's like when you start your job, you stop everything until you understand what is going on and after you take some decision. But this period, making decision delayed, have a trouble when you have subsidies to depend of that. So these three events make three major problems. For 22, as everybody knows, global and local skyrocketing inflation. As a global, they arrive 17.97%, and locally for us, even was higher. We arrive 10.80%. And one of the consequences of that is the mortgage rate. So for try to make better the economy, usually the banks start to increase the rates. So when you remember how increase this payment every month is because the banking have to make this credit expensive. And this rate, if you can see in the graph, is skyrocketing. We didn't have these rates in the last 20 years in Colombia. So actually make the double the payment you have to do every month. And not the less important, when some people depend on subsidies and everything is freeze, they put in trouble the person who depend on that. So the forecast, we run the numbers, we try to understand what is going for us in the future. And I can see in this graph was quite grim outlook. And you can see the bar who represents the withdrawals rates. And the numbers we expect in the future was really high, even in the risk for some companies can broken. So with this outlook, what is coming for us? And at the moment, what we see for the future? Extremely high withdrawal rates. The people start to abandon their dream to buy a home. And it's not just that. I mean, the sales, how you can see in the graph, just get down dramatically. And the same way, the withdrawals start to increase every year. So we have some company in Colombia. The name is Camacol. Camacol is a company who dedicates in the construction sector. And this Camacol realized we have in 22 more than 200,000 units in sales. And in 23, just 1 year later, these units on sales arrive 110,000. So the economy start to make some break and everything start to look pretty bad in the future. This represents more than $4.5 million and was 16 months in continued decline. The consequence for that, I think you can imagine it. First of all, and the most important, the people start to experience shattered dreams, frustration, uncertainty. And more of them express something truly devastating. My life savings were not enough. For us, at Constructora Bolívar. The substantial losses due by inventory accumulation. We had a slow outflow and declining reputation of the company. And for Colombia as a whole, development and standstill. Now, the people started to make different options to continue this dream to get a home. Some people just try to pay off the debts, get microloans, and take out loans to pay the down payment. So at the end, these items just carrying a risk, and they was not the best solution. Here, the big question for us is what we can do for ongoing this customer partners. And most importantly, how do we help the people fully for realize their dream? For do that, we have one department in our company, which I lead. This team is dedicated, and we call Big Data Analytics. And we have like slogan, and we say, we see beyond the data where only technology can reveal. And for that, in this case, we deliver information to help the people to realize their dream, to get a home. So that's why we create RiskMaster. RiskMaster is an intelligence model with superpower of Databricks, and the BDA team converge to one sustainable solution to help the people on time to realize their dream. As you realize in the few days, too many conferences I saw, and to be honest, this slide didn't be in the yesterday, just I put this morning, because I want to share with you what is ecosystem and what is our architecture. In the last few days, we see Medallion architecture is really human. And just I want to add, for understand this problem, we have not just internal data, we have data from the banks, for the government. I mean, we have too many data outside. Okay? We have to create in our ecosystem and take the best. Which more I can tell you about this architecture? We have the raw, bronze, silver, and gold. And after that, we can deliver it directly in all the application, in this case for the team who calls the customers, and speak directly with all the system integrated. So, come back to RiskMaster. RiskMaster is a machine learning models to check 4 dimensions of the risk. I will explain it later. And we try to make diagnosis for 300 degrees. With this model, we forecast the risk and we craft effective solutions. For speak about more about these models, just I want you keep in your mind these 2 kind of moments when you have to give down payment and after when you need this mortgage loan. Because for helping people, we have to go in the future and understand what happened in the next payment. And when the home is ready, what is the rate will we have in the market and how we can go forward and help the people. For explain that, I want to introduce you Nicolas. Nicolas is our senior data scientist. He was the brain behind these models. Make him the best person to explain better these models.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nicolas Bojaca. I work for Constructora Bolívar, and I'm going to show you the solution that we created with multiple teams. Here we have data engineers, governance, also we have advanced analytics and business intelligence. Of course, we received a lot of help from the stakeholders that knows the business. So let's talk about the 4 dimensions that we have in RiskMaster. The first one tries to answer to the churn rate in Constructora Bolívar. So here we have some characteristics, and at the end we have a probability about churn, about a person becoming a churn. The second model is a subsidy model. As Oscar told us before, we had some changes in our rules in the country. So we had to understand these changes to assign a probability for each customer about who could receive this subsidy. The third model is the interest rate model. We need to make some calculations about how much should be the payment that a customer must to make in order to obtain a mortgage loan. And we have a financial insight model where we retrieve information from the credit bureaus, and we can understand like the financial ability of our customers to manage their money. Let's talk about each model. In this case, we have the churn dynamics. Well, as you could imagine, here we have the classical classification models. Here we have logistic regressions, random forest, XGBoost, maybe a combination of them, and from characteristics like their, I don't know, their family, how many children they have, monthly income for each customers. Also, we need to use information there about the place where they live. These characteristics are essential that we pass through a machine learning model, and at the end we have a classification to understand if a person could become a churn or not. For the subsidy prediction model, like we have to deal with some rules, some changes of rules, we try to make some kind of decision tree-like model where according to the fulfillments that you have to a specific requirement, you can increase your probability to receive a subsidy from the government. For the interest rate model, we had to deal with multiple time series analysis. Here we could make some predictions about important economic variables like the interest rates, also inflation, the monthly income in Colombia. And with these characteristics, we could make an approximation about how much should pay a person in order to obtain a mortgage loan. And finally, we have the financial insight model. Here, we retrieve different variables about the financial state of a customer, for example, like the debt capacity. Also, we needed to understand what other products each customer has in the market, and according to the payment that this person makes in something business that is different from construction, we can understand if they are well trained to obtain something so important in Colombia like a mortgage loan. At the end, we had to consolidate these four risk levels to make only one score of risk. Also, we had with this score risk some kind of descriptions to suggest a better management of our clients, like calling them and tell them that they need to search for another bank with a lower interest rate. And when we realized all the things that we could make with RiskMaster, in brief, we firstly were able to predict the crisis. Well, as the interest rates were turning so high at the end of 2022, we understand how many churns we will have at the end of the year, but we needed to understand something more about our clients, which was the problem. It was the credit, it was the subsidy, or maybe the person doesn't have enough money to buy a new home. But we didn't stop just here. We also created solutions. We created some activities to mitigate this risk and help our people to get a home in Colombia. Well, I leave you again with Oscar to see the results of applying this model during the last 2 years, and well, he's here.
Thank you, Nicolas. So, do you remember the graph I showed you before in the beginning? It was looking out really cream, the scenario. Actually, I want to tell you, thanks to RiskMaster, we can mitigate impact. Was still negative, but not the same as we predicted. So this just shows the effectiveness for our solution. In this path, we have too many lessons to want to share with you. First of all, this environment, volatility, uncertain, complex and ambiguity, we reference as a VUCA environment, give us the chance to make too many scenarios to understand how we can handle these situations. Also, we have scalability to make this model and integrate with another company's models. At the same time, the companies commit with innovation. So we encourage to continue to create new value with data. And at the end, we learn something because in the beginning it was a really complex problem. So the biggest conclusion is how you can get to the simple, to the complex. What is the powerful results? And what is the impact thanks to RiskMaster? First of all, for clients, we could help people to realize their dream to get a home. Actually, in the last year, hundreds of Colombians in vulnerable population, when I say vulnerable population means families who didn't have enough incomes and the needs, for example, subsidies. Second of all, for us, we can rescue thousands of business at risk, also reduce the business without rates, and most importantly, we transitate to reactive to proactive operation with our team. Finally, for Colombia as a whole, we contribute to building a country where everybody can get a home. And something unexpected benefits happening. We didn't expect that, but thanks to RiskMaster, we could understand and overcome population bias. And they help us to how we gain on doing business with the clients. So what is coming for us? We just want to push forward, and in the beginning, we have to analyze now all the treatments we make with the customers last 2 years and understand what is the most effective ones. Also, integrate is the key for us. So now we want to make decisions maker with more precision. And engagement is also something clever for us, how we can get this engagement with our people. And on that, we want to involve the people who has directly contact with our clients and make engagement easier. One of the biggest conclusions with all the process we live until now is that, and for us is really powerful meaning, because how is that scientists and artificial intelligence can't help the people for fully realize their dream. And I think we have in our hands the ability to help humanity, and this kind of solution, I think, is how we can contribute with society. Who is behind all of this? As I told you, we are Constructora Bolívar, a leading company in the construction sector with more than 40 years of experience. We pride ourselves to be one of the best industry to care about the environment. Actually, we receive several awards, social and green awards, who dedicates to care about the environment. Just for finish, we have a few minutes. I want to thanks to you for the experience. I don't know, Nicolas, if you want to tell something more.
Okay. Yes. With the solution that we created, with all the steps that we had to follow to reach the solution of RiskMaster, we could understand that we are leading the way towards transformation and charting the course to become a data-driven company. It's something too important, especially in Colombia and in a sector like construction, where usually the data doesn't have the importance that it should have.
Finally, if you want to learn more about us, let's run together, scan the code. If you have any idea, suggestion, or something you want to speak, it will be my pleasure to hear from you. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you can find this presentation meaningful and enjoy it. Thank you so much.